And gentlemen, just an update on the Anthony Bass controversy in Toronto with the Blue Jays, especially of his anti LGBTQ posts in recent days. According to CBC, the Blue Jays have cut ties with pitcher Anthony Bass amid backlash over anti LGBTQ social media posts. Now, it is Pride Month across Canada and across the world. And as we all know, Toronto is a very strong gay, trans, and multiple gender population ever since the start of the city. Now, designated for assignment means that either he can get his unconditional release, or can be picked up by another team, or be sent to the minors. It's the latest development in a controversy that began when Bass shared a social media post that supported anti-LGBTQ boycotts. I guess one of the beer companies and Target was the one in question. Bass, who made a public apology last week for the post, had been scheduled to catch the ceremonial first pitch by LGBTQ advocate Leslie Lee Cam when the Jays hosted Minnesota on Friday night, kick off the Pride weekend. The Blue Jays said pitcher Kevin Gossman would catch the first pitch instead. The decision to include Bass was met with criticism on some social media. Now, Bass was picked up to the Blue Jays in a trade last year, has a 0-0 record with a 4.95 earned run average over 22 appearances on 2023. Now, Toronto called up right-hander Mitch White in a corresponding roster move, which might tie in with the fact that Alex Manoah has been said to the minors, and Mitch White has been on Toronto's radar the last 2 or 3 seasons to make him a number 5 starter. Although he's not done well with Toronto in recent time, there's still hope he can fit that role. Now, Bass had shared a since-deleted video urging others to spurn Target and Bud Light over the support they showed for the LGBTQ community. The right-hander, who was booed by Blue Jays fans in his first appearance following these posts and initial brief apology, said Thursday was in a better place moving forward after a recent meeting with Pride Toronto Executive Director Sherwin Modesty at Rogers Centre. He said in a scrum that initially did not think the video post, which described the selling of Pride-themed merchandise as evil and demonic, was hateful. That's why I posted it originally, he said. When I look back at it, I can see how people can view it that way, and that's why I was apologetic. However, since then, he's basically stood by that post, even though he said, maybe it was a little bit, too fast. Now, before Friday's game, Blue Jays GM Ross Atkins said on Sportsnet, the decision to cut Bass was primarily motivated by performance and not by the pitcher's off-the-field circumstances. There's a myriad of variables, he said. Performance is usually the driving one, and performance was a large aspect of this decision. Distraction was a small part of it and something we had to factor in. Atkins refused to say whether Bass would still be on the team if his performance had been better. We're trying to build the best possible team we can build, he said. This was a baseball decision to make our team better. But of course, there's been an enormous distraction across Canada, just like the policy controversy in New Brunswick in recent days, where the government and their education minister is trying to supersede the charter in relation to trans rights in schools and, coming out of the closet. That's a big controversy. So you got this controversy during Pride Month in Toronto and this controversy in New Brunswick. That's been heavy in the news in Canada. And to our American listeners, the charter protects the rights of these type of children. So there's no state rights involved because provincial rights do not supersede the charter. You're a republic and we're a commonwealth. Now, Atkins said in the press conference it was not a realistic option for Bass to land in Toronto's minor league system. We won't stand his way to be one other organization, Atkins said. So again, it could be unconditional release, waivers, but at his age, he's an advanced age in his 30s. And no offense, we've had Eric Swanson and some other top young prospects, Jimmy Garcia and others, and some of their injured relievers are back. Toronto always carries 6 or 7 relievers in the middle innings, just like the old days. So that's maybe the end of the Anthony Bass situation in Toronto. If you like what we're doing here, we're a sports podcast. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And as we say in Northern Brunswick, hug your friends.